Test 1 2, test 1 2. Boom! Good morning and welcome everybody to the Crypto Mining Show, your one-stop shop for all cryptocurrency news from the perspective of a cryptocurrency miner. I'm your host. I go by Blind Run on the internet and Matthew in real life. Today we have a new release from Firo, as well as some speed and performance infrastructure and a whole bunch of other interesting information coming from the Flux and Avalanche partnership. We have the i7-13700K benchmarks. We have Ethereum breaking $1,600 today. And we have the SEC filing a complaint on Coinbase inside trading, as well as a bunch of Bitcoin miner news. And they're basically looking good. Like, Bitcoin mining is starting to kind of recover. We'll talk about that. And maybe that translates obviously into GPU mining. As we've seen, it is looking better than it has for the past, few months. So that's good. Let's get into all of that after a word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is Crypto.com. Crypto.com is my go-to centralized exchange for liquidating my crypto assets. With their Crypto.com Visa debit card, I can load up my mined Ethereum to pay for power and other operating costs quickly while earning up to 8% cash back. In addition to the Visa debit card, there are additional fiat options, including wire transfers, to easily receive your profits. Crypto.com also offers additional services, including trading and even staking, to earn additional revenue on your investments. Join 10 million plus users buying and selling 100 plus cryptocurrencies at true cost by using my affiliate link in the description for a $25 funding bonus. Or enter referral code SOAT at sign up for the same bonus. Remember, cryptocurrency investment comes with significant risks, so do your own research. We have some grout work going on in the background, so please excuse the noise, as well as just a disclaimer. The current cashback percentage on Crypto.com is up to 5%. Now they are also adding a 1% debit card fee that I just found out about this morning, but I'll get more information for you guys on that next week as I get responses from, of course, my sponsorship rep. Let's talk about Firo version 14.11.0 right now. So this is an emergency release, and it fixes a bug which will result in the Lelantis spends to fail verification when a new anonymity set is started. There are no security risks or loss of anonymity with this bug. It says, please update your wallet, masternodes, and nodes immediately. Wallets and nodes that aren't updated will fail to sync with the correct chain when the new Lelantis anonymity set is started, approximately in a week with current usage. This release also corrects having block numbers following the acceleration in block time from 5 minutes to 2.5 minutes to be in line with the original emission schedule. This change is because we used N time instead of a block number to switch the new block time, and therefore the block number was only known once the switch happened. Please back up your wallet and prior to updating for safety. I am really upset about this timing, but sometimes things just happen in the background and we're going to have to work through it. So it is what it is. No, there's no new bathroom going on. It's just stuff getting fixed that I don't have control over. So let's talk about the new i7-13700K 16 core and its leaked benchmarks. It's up to 17% faster than the 12700K. And to add insult to injury, it beats the Ryzen 9 5950X as well. Intel's Core i7-13700K Raptor Lake CPU benchmarks have leaked out within Geekbench 5, and now we have performance numbers for all the three 13 Gen K series SKUs. The Intel Core i7-13700K CPU will be the fastest 13th gen Core i7 chip on offer within the Raptor Lake CPU lineup. The chip features a total of 16 cores and 24 threads. This configuration is made possible with the 8 performance cores based on the Raptor Cove architecture and 8 E-cores, which are the efficiency cores, based on the Grace Mount core architecture. The CPU comes with 30 megabytes of L3 cache and 12 megabytes of L2 cache for a total combined of 42 megabytes of cache. The chip was running at a base clock of 3.4 gigahertz and a boost clock of 5.3 gigahertz. The CPU showed minimum clock speeds of 5,289 megahertz and max clock speeds of 5,381 megahertz. That's pretty crazy. So as you guys can see, they have all the specifications now lined out with the 13900K here at the top, and that is going to be the 24 core 32 thread CPU. That's going to be 8 performance cores, which is really no difference than the 8 performance cores on the 13700K. You're just getting 8 extra efficiency cores essentially for that multi-threaded processing. Now, currently I've been running the 12900K in my main rig, and I gotta say I like it a lot, so I'm looking forward to the new line. The CPU was benchmarked on the ASRock Z690 Steel Legend motherboard, and I like that I can drop it into my Aorus Master motherboard because I spent a pretty penny on that, so I'm kind of happy that we're not having to do a motherboard upgrade. And that was with DDR4 running at 3600 megabits per second. And in terms of performance, the 13700K Raptor Lake CPU scored 2,090 points in a single core and 16,542 points in the multi-core benchmark tests. This is pretty cool. Compared to the results from yesterday, the 13700K is around 5% faster, than the i5 13600K CPU in single-threaded and 15% faster in multi-threaded benchmarks. Do note that we are using DDR4 benchmarks as a basis of comparison, since the same standard and board we used for testing the 13700K. The DDR5 version of the 13600K produces much better results, but still lags slightly behind the 13700K. The DDR5 benchmark results for the i5 13600K appear to be 2% faster in single-threaded and 11% faster in multi-threaded benchmarks, so DDR5 is definitely going to have an impact here. With that said, the 13700K is up to 17% faster than the Core i7-12700K CPU and is also faster than the AMD Ryzen 9 5950X. We have to remember that the Ryzen 9 5950X is a 16-core 32-thread part, whereas the 13700K is a 16-core 24-thread part. So that performance is actually quite impressive if you consider the amount of cores and so on. So as you can see here, they have a list of the benchmarks with the 13900K and 13700K, 13600K, and so on, all the way down the line. The 5950X in single core has always been a little bit lacking in comparison to Intel, as expected with AMD, and it's at 1,689 points for reference. That being said, and let me get this pulled over here and extend it out so I can read this a little bit better. Did that fix it? Can't seem to get the full... There we go. Okay, that's all we had to do. All right, so in the multi-threaded, the 5950X ends up beating out the 13600K and then still falls short of the 13700K, maybe? Barely, by maybe 30 points or so. So at the moment, it looks like Intel's most entry-level K-series Raptor Lake chip will be on par with the 5950X, while the Core i9 and Core i7 models will be ahead in performance. This is good considering Intel has to compete with Zen 4 powered Ryzen 7000 desktop CPUs right around its launch, so the extra multi-threaded and single-threaded performance is very much needed to be competitive. Additional benchmarks of the i9-13900K can be seen there, and you guys can check out the links in the description. Now, obviously for mining, most algorithms and most coins are going to still favor that cache, and we aren't getting huge cache upgrades in this particular case. Let me double check. I think we're getting a little bit, but not much. Maybe about twice, but I don't think it'll be, near what we're at with AMD. You're going from 30 megabytes of cache to 68 megabytes of cache. So from a mining perspective, you're probably still better off going the AMD route. However, there are a few outliers, things like Darrow, for example, that do perform well just on the multi-threaded performance. So this could be an option for something like that, and that's kind of where we sit. Now, Flux has a new announcement as well, and they are basically talking about the Flux and AVAX parallel assets and what kind of significance they play here. This was just released today as a blog post on their official Medium page, and it says parallel assets play a significant role in the Flux ecosystem. They create bridges to other networks, allow users to enjoy the best of both chains, and lay the foundation for a solid interoperable network. I'll get that word one day. Flux and ETH, Flux Cadena, and Flux BSC have already been in circulation since the first half of 2021, while others like Flux and Solana and Flux and Tron joined the list in the second half of the year. For this year, Flux has announced Flux AVAX as one of its latest additions to its fleet of parallel assets. On May 5th of 2022 at noon UTC, Flux took the snapshot of Flux assets staked on CoinMetro and those in the ZIL Core wallet. Flux holders will receive up to 5.4% of their Flux assets in Flux AVAX. However, essential questions to ask include: what's next after launching and deploying these parallel assets on the Flux network? What will be the significance of these new assets to the future of Flux and the decentralized web from a larger scope? And to answer these questions, they say, let's take a look at the blockchain this token will connect to Flux. So Avalanche started as a mission to solve consensus problems in blockchain networks liable to crash, faults or Byzantine failure. Researchers would later develop it at Cornell University, led by Emin Gun-Sear. A high-performance blockchain network was designed to address three primary use cases. These are the creation of complex and customizable smart assets and the building deployment of scalable decentralized applications. In addition, the network is designed to handle the creation of application-specific blockchains, which can either be public or private. What makes Avalanche unique, however, is how it sets about to get this done. The network combines the unique blend of the classical consensus with its characteristic fast speed and low maintenance with the Nakamoto consensus developed by Bitcoin's anonymous creator. The result is a unique protocol called the Avalanche Consensus, decentralized, robust, low maintenance, and scalable. All the strengths of both parent consensus, none of the weaknesses. Avalanche Consensus can accommodate scaling from thousands to millions of participants without a significant downgrade in the speed of the chain. The Avalanche Protocol is regarded by many as a stiff competitor to the Ethereum blockchain, and with good reason, they say in the article. It can power other protocols and decentralized applications from different native chains. The platform uses Solidity, a language popular among Ethereum and JavaScript developers, and allows for customized chains, private or public, to be built on it. This way, developers can stick with a single platform while designing personalized protocols that serve unique needs. One of the features that sets the Avalanche blockchain apart from many other blockchains, including Bitcoin, is its high throughput. Transactions on the chain can run as fast as 4,500 transactions per second, while Bitcoin and Ethereum can only manage 7 transactions and 14 transactions per second, respectively. The speed also has the potential to reach 10,000 or more, depending on machine specifications. I believe the aim for Ethereum 2.0 down the line after the scalability solution applied is 100,000. That's according, of course, to Vitalik Buterin at the ETH conference earlier this week. Avalanche also solves the problem of transaction finality. The need to wait for transaction confirmations over several minutes is one of the drawbacks that has made blockchains unsuitable for commercial purposes. For example, it takes up to 60 minutes on the Bitcoin network to achieve transaction finality, while Ethereum has a time gap of 6 minutes. On Avalanche, this time gap is significantly decreased to less than 2 seconds, making the network way faster than what can be achieved on many other chains. The network runs on 3 different chains: the P, platform chain, C, contract chain, and the X, exchange chain, each handling a unique part of the Avalanche ecosystem. I feel like adding 3 chains, like I know that Ethereum's going to 2 essentially, right? Well, layers, right? You got the execution layer and the consensus layer. I feel like that's not necessarily reliable. I'm kind of along the lines of a Bitcoin maximalist. Like, I think like layer 2 should be slow, steady, and secure. And then you build everything on top of that. That's my way of thinking. Obviously, though, different applications for different folks. I don't know enough about Avalanche and its structure either from a governance standpoint, which I think we should probably take a look into later on down the line, because this is basically just selling us on Avalanche at this point. At the same time, the X chain is used to create the exchange, the Avalanche native coin, AVAX, alongside other digital currencies. Avalanche also uses an additional chain optimized consensus Snowman protocol for the P and C chains. This consensus protocol offers native support for quickly creating and trading customizable digital intelligent assets. Since one of Avalanche's primary use cases is the deployment of smart contracts, it has found wide applications for DeFi applications. There you go. We'll just say wide applications for DeFi applications. The ecosystem is home to over 100 DeFi applications that take advantage of its speed, performance, and interoperability. Currently, Avalanche ranks among the top platforms for decentralized finance. AVAX, the native token, finds its utility in the ecosystem, stems transactions, staking, and governance. Flux interacts with the Avalanche chain via Flux AVAX, allowing synergy interaction and interoperability between both ecosystems. Users on the Avalanche network can easily participate in the Web3-focused Flux economy, stake tokens, host Flux nodes, and earn mining rewards. The same also goes for users on the Flux network, who can now experience the best Avalanche ecosystem. Avalanche tokens will now be available directly to users from the ZIL Core wallet. So that's really from our end user perspective. In the ZIL Core wallet, you'll have Avalanche and the whole ecosystem, including other tokens on Avalanche, available within the ZIL Core wallet. And that's kind of what's significant. That's what you will see, right? Plus that 5.4%. And the parallel assets from the mining perspective also getting that additional payout now too. Avalanche and Flux share a lot in common. Both projects aim to increase the adoption of blockchain technology for different use cases and improve the accessibility of these services to a global population. Flux continues to optimize its platform and expand its scope in a quest to position itself as a pace setter in decentralized Web3 world. We're looking at more integrations, partnerships, and deployments of dApps on the ecosystem across different sectors, with upgrades like Titan nodes, which were just recently put into beta, by the way, and we covered that earlier this week, enhanced proof-of-work mining with Ergo, which is going to be interesting because I am still waiting on that information, and Web3 enterprise adoption with Lumen Technologies, and a lot more. Flux is redefining cloud infrastructure and the web one step at a time, and you can join them at runonflux.io. Obviously, partnerships overall and interoperability on the blockchain is kind of one of those big paramount things that a lot of people are looking at and paying attention to, and getting the word out surrounding Flux. One of the easiest ways to do that is to add in these integrations. But I do fear that Flux moves a little too quickly in some cases, Case in point being, of course, the Terra Luna partnership that they had for parallel assets that basically went defunct before they could actually apply it. Now, there was a snapshot done, but that was then reversed because of the crash of Terra Luna. Point being is that if you move too quickly, you can get yourself into some hot water and in bed with bad parties, bad actors within the space. So I hope that they learn their lesson from that. I think that they probably have, and will slow down and make sure that they vet these projects a little bit more closely. The most exciting thing for me that I learned about this in particular was their enhanced proof of work mining with Ergo. I'm very curious to see where they're headed with Ergo and that partnership, because that would be one that would be super intriguing. Having access to Ergo blockchain within the Zelcore wallet would be pretty awesome as well, because Zelcore does have a ton of interoperability, and being able to utilize that with Ergo would be awesome. So I hope that we will get more information on that and figure that out down the line. Now, miners were really struggling with capital, obviously, over the past year since January, which has caused quite a few issues within the industry as far as plants shutting down, unsteady hash rates. That all does continue to a certain extent, but there is a little light at the end of the tunnel. And so we're starting to see more facilities come online and that sort of thing. This one's in Paraguay, pretty surprisingly. And the Commons Foundation signs a 100 megawatt deal for crypto mining in Paraguay. The South American country with abundant hydropower wants to attract Bitcoin miners. The Commons Foundation has signed a 100 megawatt 10-year power purchasing agreement with Paraguay's grid operator, buying energy that it plans to use for crypto mining. The South American country's grid runs almost entirely on hydroelectric power, so nice and clean for all the naysayers there. With a price of around 5 cents per kilowatt hour, thanks to dams built on some of the world's biggest rivers. Most of the electricity from the Itaipu, something like that, dam, I need to learn to pronounce that, the world's largest in terms of average annual energy production, should definitely learn how to pronounce that name since it's the world's largest in annual energy production, is exported to Brazil under a treaty that is set to expire in 2023. The Paraguay government is looking to attract Bitcoin miners to soak up excess energy, as they should, reduce waste. And that is obviously one of the benefits of attracting Bitcoin miners. Last week, the country's Senate passed a bill to regulate the industry. The bill requires miners to be licensed by authorities. The 100 megawatts secured by the Commons Foundation will create 1,000 jobs over the next 4 years in Via Hayes at District Jose Falcon in central Paraguay, according to a press release sent to CoinDesk. The contract between the Paraguay Electrical Authority and the Commons Foundation set the price for electricity at $30.78 per megawatt hour. Nice. However, the price can be adjusted annually, as well as depending on regulations under the terms of the deal. Miners usually prefer fixed price agreements, locking in prices in advance so that they are not affected by the price fluctuations. Our contract today is a historic day for Paraguay. I am confident this business will succeed and attract more investors, said Ande chairman Felix Sosa in a press release. The contract was signed on July 15th, but announced on Thursday. The Commons Foundation is a Singapore-based organization that invests in crypto and blockchain projects. Canadian firm Bitfarms operates a 10 megawatt mining site in south central Paraguay. We've talked about, Paraguay quite a few other times, I think earlier this week too. They have some interesting regulations coming into play surrounding cryptocurrency, but obviously, case in point, just once again, when you get into the environmental argument with people over Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining and proof of work in general, it's important to point out two things. One is that the incentives are aligned to influence miners to utilize renewable energy. And in fact, the Bitcoin mining industry is probably one of the number one industries to be pushing for renewable energies. Number two, to that, is Bitcoin mining allows energy companies or governments that are basically regulating energy companies to reduce waste. And that means that you are more efficient. And basically, any success of any economy is usually determined by the amount of energy they are able to utilize. And so reducing waste is obviously beneficial to the economy. And that's pretty much all you really need to do when you get into those discussions with people. Now, Bitcoin mining difficulty is basically seeing a huge drop, which is good news for people that are mining a Bitcoin. And that is primarily due to the Texas heat. And I can attest to this because I am down quite a bit as far as hash rate 2 from the Texas heat. It's the third consecutive downward adjustment, the first such occurrence in a year. The difficulty of mining a Bitcoin block dropped by 5% on Thursday as miners turned off their machines to lower power demands on energy grids dealing with a U.S. heat wave, particularly in Texas. The Bitcoin mining difficulty adjusts automatically every 2 weeks to keep the time needed to mine a new block roughly at 10 minutes. As more computing power gets plugged into the network, the difficulty adjusts higher. And as computing power gets pulled from the network, as has been happening recently, the difficulty adjusts lower. The difficulty on Thursday fell 5% to roughly the same level it was back in March, data from miningpoolbtc.com shows. Now, I would like to point out that we've been tracking this, and it's pretty interesting that we see these dips of like 20 exahash just really quickly almost every day. And it appears to be, from what I can tell, peak heat times and peak power consumption times in Texas are pretty much aligned with it, which is really interesting. So I think miners are shutting down during peak heat times and then coming back online, specifically Bitcoin miners and large farms. The difficulty was reduced as American miners turned off their machines for significant periods over the past 2 weeks as electricity prices soared due to a heat wave, said Jason Mellerud, senior researcher at Arcane Research. It's the third consecutive decrease in mining difficulty, the first time this has happened since 4 straight declines 1 year ago as Chinese miners packed up their rigs thanks to the country's ban on Bitcoin mining. The initial drop in the hash rate at the middle of June was likely caused by the plummeting Bitcoin price, Mellerud continued. But the second drop at the beginning of July was likely caused by miners powering down in response to high electricity prices. Now, you guys know I got hit with a crazy additional fee on mine, even though we do have that contractual price of, basically with delivery at 6.5 cents a kilowatt hour. I had a whole different line item there, and I'm still working through what exactly that is. I am understanding from some of y'all in the Dallas area, there's not as much. Houston area, no. Seems to be in my area in particular, which is going to be, between, I guess, Austin for the main one and then like San Antonio. I've heard reports in San Antonio's getting the same fees as well as Austin, Texas. If you guys are not seeing those, let me know. But I'm trying to figure out exactly what's happening there. Hopefully I'll get to the bottom of it. I am looking at probably shutting down at least like some of the rigs that are just overheating. At this point, I have been reducing power as well. So Bitcoin miner though, more Bitcoin miner news. Core Scientific gets $100 million equity financing despite the bear market. So what are we seeing? We're starting to see a reversal. And this is pretty crazy. This would be the quickest crypto winter I've ever seen if this fully reverses. Why does it feel like it actually has the potential to fully reverse out of a crypto winter in this outside of what I would consider, right? So as I look at the traditional halving cycle and I pay attention to that as my main guidance, I would assume that we would not hit any sort of relief from the bear market until 2024. That being said, when I see news like this is more of a long-term positive signal when we're seeing basically capital being pushed into a Bitcoin mining company, despite, of course, this bear market. The miner has the right but no obligation to sell the shares to investment bank B. Riley. The largest Bitcoin miner by hash rate, Core Scientific, has signed an agreement with investment bank B. Riley to issue up to $100 million of shares to the bank over 2 years to enhance liquidity. Core Scientific has the right but no obligation to issue the new shares, subject to some limitations and conditions according to a statement. The company plans to use this additional funding to bolster its balance sheet and help the miner expand. That's good news. You want to hear that they're using it to expand, meaning they are going to utilize that to increase the hash rate. Increasing the hash rate and planning on increasing the hash rate with, new capital coming in means that it's positive news for the price of Bitcoin as well. The deal comes as crypto bear market hammers shares of the publicly traded miners. Stocks of some of these publicly traded miners, including Cove, have fallen anywhere between 50 to 80% this year. The miner also issued B. Riley 573,381 shares of common stock as consideration for B. Riley's commitment to purchase Core Scientific shares. Core has been raising cash by selling some of the Bitcoin it has been mining. Last month, it sold 7,202 Bitcoins at an average price of $23,000 to raise about $167 million. The miner said it intends to use these proceeds from sales mainly for payments towards Asic servers, capital investments, in addition to data center capacity and debt repayments. What does this also mean too? Because there's two really important things here. Bolster its balance sheet and expand. So expand, we'd already talked about. Why is bolstering your balance sheet good right now as a miner? Well, obviously what that's going to mean is that they don't have to sell as much Bitcoin. That means that the selling pressure is relieved on the largest Bitcoin miner currently out, which means that that is a good signal for price on Bitcoin. That is what I'm seeing as far as all this goes. I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions in the live chat and, of course, the comment section below, because I think that is extremely significant. Now, we have some interesting stuff going on. Coinbase has some insider trading going on, and there is a case being levied. 9 altcoins are now deemed securities. Like I said before, call a spade, but don't take my spade away from me. Let's see what they're talking about though, as far as what are securities and some more information on this Coinbase insider trading. Today, the U.S. Department of Justice brought charges on 3 suspects for their alleged involvement in an inside trading scheme. One of the suspects was a former Coinbase employee. The case seems poised to have major implications for the crypto industry. Following the announcement from the DOJ, the SEC filed a complaint in the Federal District Court in Seattle, Washington, with charges against Ishan Wahi, Nikhil Wahi, and Samir Rahmani. I think I got those close. The first of these individuals worked as a product manager at the exchange. The suspect allegedly used confidential information to benefit from future Coinbase listing announcements. So he basically had insider information that a coin was going to be listed on Coinbase. And if you guys don't know, basically, if you have if you have a coin that gets listed on Coinbase, automatically it's going up in price. It literally doesn't even matter what the coin is. It immediately goes up in price right away. So what is happening here is that you have somebody that has information on the inside of Coinbase on a coin that is essentially going to be listed before anybody else has any idea that it's going to be listed. So they can purchase that coin ahead of time, and immediately when it is listed, they can dump it at basically what would be that coin's high, usually. And that is pretty scummy at the end of the day. Whenever an asset is listed on this platform, its value often trades to the upside. Not often, pretty much always, right? Pretty much always. Which could prove beneficial for people with inside knowledge of these announcements. Now, definitely beneficial for people with inside knowledge on these announcements. While he allegedly provided this information to his brother, Nikhil, and or something like that, maybe Nikki, and Rahmani. From June 2021 to April of 2022, the suspects allegedly benefited from over 14 announcements, making over $1.1 million in profits and violating U.S. securities regulation, according to the commission. The U.S. regulators will use the case to prove that at least 9 out of the 25 tokens traded on or by the scheme are unregistered securities. Per the complaint, these assets operate as investment contracts sold to the investor with a reasonable expectation of profits to be derived from the efforts of others. Grewal, director of the SEC's Division of Enforcement said the following on the commission's complaint and their ultimate goal, at which he said he is focused on economic realities rather than labels. Said, quote, in this case, those realities affirm that a number of crypto assets at issue were securities, and as alleged, the defendants engaged in typical insider trading ahead of their listing on Coinbase. Rest assured, we will continue to ensure a level playing field for investors, regardless of the label placed on the securities involved. You know, this isn't a problem in decentralized exchanges, because decentralized exchanges typically allow you to list, you know, by yourself. Yeah. Now, you could technically, there could be like some information you could get from Discord or something along those lines, or a developer could, you know, leak that information to a certain set of people to give them some heads up for a decentralized exchange. But a lot of this is solved once you move out of a centralized ecosystem. Amongst the cryptocurrencies deemed securities by the commission, the complaint mentions AMP, an Ethereum-based token launched by a company called Flux Network, RLY, another Ethereum-based token launched on the Rally network, and DDX, launched by DerivaX in July of 2020. The commission goes into great detail about the background of each of the 9 cryptocurrencies referred to as crypto asset securities. Other digital assets include XYO, RGT, LCX, POWR, DFX, and KROM, KROM. The majority of these tokens were launched on the Ethereum blockchain under the ERC-20 standard. I mean, are we just seeing basically securities on Ethereum at this point? Commenting on the case and the potential implications for the industry, head of policy for the Blockchain Association lawyer Jake Chervinsky said the SEC's complaints must be considered as allegations, not facts. He said, quote, the SEC alleges in today's complaint that 9 digital assets are securities, but don't explain their analysis for even one. They also didn't sue the issuers or exchange where the tokens traded, the people with resources to fight back. They just went after one man and his family. It's hard to overstate what a mess this will be. Now, it's 2 separate things though, because it is a little weird. You would need to technically, and I think, and maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong, you would have to prove that they're in securities first by going after Coinbase and these projects before you could get someone for insider trading. Maybe we have the cart before the horse here, is what the counter argument is. The SEC seems to be making a push to extend its jurisdiction on the digital asset industry. As Bitcoinist reported, SEC Chair Gary Gensler said he was willing to admit only Bitcoin as a commodity, therefore as an asset outside of the regulator's reach, which is important if you're looking at holding something. You know, Bitcoin maximalism isn't the craziest way to invest at the end of the day. Not financial advice, just my thoughts when I look at it, right? Now, that doesn't mean that we aren't seeing great rises in the cryptocurrency industry as a whole. Now, Ethereum did just drop slightly below 1,600, but it did break 1,600, and this was, you know, crypto funds price in the July rate hike. The market has been decisively pricing out probability of a 100 BPS hike in the July FOMC trading fund, QCP Capital said. Crypto majors gained on Friday, with Ethereum breaking the $1,600 level amid a run-up in a broader equity market in Asia and Europe. Asia Dow ended the day at 0.37 with gains over 0.4% in Japan's Nikkei 225 and Singapore. In Europe, Germany's DAX rose 0.28% while Stoxx 600 jumped 0.4%. However, U.S. equities futures slipped as investors await the next batch of second quarter earnings. It's interesting to see, you know, cryptocurrency not follow the U.S. equities futures in this particular case and follow outside influences. That could spell, of course, bad news for the U.S. economy, though, too, if we think about it a little bit more deeply, right? Global stocks remain on course for their best week in over a month, with speculation that the worst of the sell-off has passed, as per Bloomberg. Meanwhile, crypto market observers said Bitcoin gains came as traders assessed the upcoming round of U.S. rate hikes. Odds show a 77% change of a 75 base point hike. Since the high CPI print, the market has decisively been pricing out the probability of a 100 BPS hike in the July FOMC, QCP Capital traders said in a Telegram broadcast on Friday. Currently, a 20% chance of 100 BPS is still being priced in, but our view is that 75 BPS is the most the Fed will do. Expect another boost as 100 BPS gets completely priced out, the QCP trader said. However, QCP said it was not sure if the upside momentum continues in a big way, as the market is starting to show some signs of exhaustion. Ether rose nearly 10% in the past 24 hours, continuing a run from earlier this week. The asset has popped up ahead of the merge, an important upgrade on the Ethereum network in September, which has led to some people calling the price merge the merge trade, or the price rise, the merge trade, which makes sense, right? You're going to buy it right now on that news of the September, and then hopefully it goes up when there is a successful merge and you sell it off. That is what people are considering from the retail perspective. You got to be very careful with that though too, because conversely, it could be not successful or be delayed, and then the price of Ethereum tanks, right? So be extremely careful there. Not financial advice, of course. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin rose 4.5%, showing signs of strength as it consolidated over $23,500 level. BNB, XRP, Solana, and Cardano rose over 5%, while Dogecoin underperformed Bitcoin with a 3.4% rise. Mike Tedeschi, market advisor for TradeZing, said the firm considers 28,000 as a major area of resistance for Bitcoin, with 18,000 as a support level. There are three major price zones that we are watching. The major upside resistance zone is at 28,000. This area was the low from 2021 and acted as support in the summer of 2021, Tedeschi said. However, if Bitcoin falls below the $18,000 zone, the major level of support is around 12,000, which is where the 2020 breakout zone is. Meanwhile, Paradox Fund founder and principal Stephanie Ouellette said inflation pressures continue to affect sentiments around Bitcoin. Similar to other risks, the pressures increased inflation is putting on the current rate environment is having a major impact on speculative assets such as Bitcoin, Ouellette said. Furthermore, selling Bitcoin is a very easy way for speculators to decrease risk in their portfolio. Ouellette added cryptocurrencies were the first assets to face selling pressure instead of market correction. Bitcoin and other liquid cryptos tend to see heavy selling pressure, as it is one of the only highly speculative assets in a portfolio that investors can easily sell, he said. And that is one thing about Bitcoin that does make it unique, is that it is easier to sell and trade because there's not as much regulation surrounding it. That's just something that we've seen for a long time. Obviously, one of the benefits of Bitcoin is being able to transact peer-to-peer without interference of governments and banks. That does mean it is more easily basically influenced by that sort of sell-off. But we did talk about earlier, like I said, I just wanted to bring it back up. You know, we do have more capital flowing into the Bitcoin mining industry, and that is going to be extremely significant for the selling pressure as the large miner Core Scientific is able to add, to their balance sheet and probably prevent themselves from needing to sell Bitcoin. So there is a positive there that we should pay attention to from the mining perspective. Now, let's get into mining profitability after a word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Crypto.com. Crypto.com is my go-to centralized exchange for liquidating my crypto assets. With their Crypto.com Visa debit card, I can load up my mined Ethereum to pay for power and other operating costs quickly while earning up to 8% cash back. In addition to the Visa debit card, there are additional fiat options, including wire transfers, to easily receive your profits. Crypto.com also offers additional services, including trading and even staking, to earn additional revenue revenue on your investments. Join 10 million plus users buying and selling 100 plus cryptocurrencies at true cost by using my affiliate link in the description for a $25 funding bonus. Or enter referral code SOAT at sign up for the same bonus. Remember, cryptocurrency investment comes with significant risks, so do your own research. And welcome back, everybody. Remember, it's only up to 5% cash back on the card, and yes, I will get that updated. Let's take a look at mining profitability for the past day, and it's not looking too shabby. So, to be clear, this is not accurate because it's showing for today that we are at $54 already. So that's not the full day. The last full day was on the 21st, and that was at 135 USDT. And we are sitting around 4.8 to 5 gigahash a second because we are a little bit down. Obviously, this is looking much better than it has for quite some time, and Crazy Pool has started finding some pretty significant blocks, which is super helpful here recently for me because I am on that pool. So as far as that goes, that will put me, if we can maintain that, into a position where I can afford the poor electricity costs, at least for now, but we'll have to see where that ends up later on, and I'll keep you guys up to date. But overall, I think everything is looking up on the up and up. I did not ever hit a block on Bitcoin Cash, unfortunately. We'll keep trying. I may switch it to, I think my Bitcoin mining, or my Bitcoin node is almost completely synced. And when that is completely synced, I will be moving over to solo mining Bitcoin on it until we get it done with the review. And then we will be basically giving it away on sonofatech.locals.com for supporters over there. So if you're interested in the giveaway, it will be restricted to the United States, but we will be giving away an Antminer S10 thanks to Coastal Crypto, which you can now check out the new affiliate link down in the description. They're also giving 5% off with the promo code SOAT. So trying to get you guys as many deals as I possibly can. Checking what to mine on the RTX 3090 and with corrected ZIL hash at 110 solutions a second, Kapow at 60 megahash a second, ProgPow and Firo proof of work as well at 60 megahash a second, and a cost of 10 cents a kilowatt hour. Let's go ahead and calculate that out. Make sure it's all up to date. We have Ethereum in first place, still at $2.83 a day in revenue and $2.06 a day after power. Ravencoin at $2.55 a day in revenue and $1.76 a day after power. Neoxa at $2.54 a day in revenue and $1.75 a day after power. Cero $2.47 a day in revenue and $1.68 a day after power. Firo proof of work at $2.41 a day in revenue and $1.67 a day after power. Conflex at $2.23 a day in revenue and $1.44 a day after power. Scrolling down, we got Ethereum Classic at $2.12 a day in revenue and $1.35 a day after power. We have Flux at $2 a day in revenue and $1.30 a day after power. If you mine it directly if you mine through NiceHash, it is a little bit more profitable at $1.43 a day after power. And then we have to scroll down a little bit more to get to Ergo at $1.67 a day in revenue and $1.04 a day after power. Let's see if we have any huge changes in hash rate going on. Bitcoin, obviously, we had that difficulty dive. It looked like it actually just dipped again on Friday, or on Thursday, I mean. So that is awesome. The difficulty is going down. The hash rate is not going up. We don't see the same blips that we were seeing here recently. I don't know if people have figured that out, but we're at 218 exahash a second, so no real change. If we take a look at Ethereum, we are at 938 terahash a second. We've had a little bit more hash rate come online over the past week, thanks to, of course, the increase in price. More people are able to afford to mine Ethereum right now. On Ethereum Classic, we're at 26.4 terahash a second. That is up about a terahash a second since, of course, its price pump, maybe about 2 terahash a second since its price pump that it had earlier this week. Let's take a look at Flux, which was sitting at 1 mega solution a second. It's still sitting right at 1 mega solution a second. even with the AVAX announcement. Let's take a look at Ergo, which is at 10.65 terahash a second. No real changes there, and the difficulty is remaining steadily low on Ergo. Let's take a look at Neoxa, because that is one that we have been paying attention to. That's at 251 gigahash a second. And then, of course, Ravencoin, which is at 2.38 terahash a second. So there you go as far as what's going on in the pools. No huge changes in hash rate anymore, since yesterday, but we did have some pretty significant ones over the week, specifically if we look at Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. Now let's take a look at Ethereum mining pool profitability. The last 90 days, we have Ethermine in first, Crazy Pool in second, and Mining Pool Hub in third. The last 60 days, we have ZET in first, Ethermine in second, and Mining Pool Hub in third. The last 30 days, we have Mining Pool Hub in first, F2 Pool in second, and Crux Pool in third. The last 21 days, we have Mining Pool Hub in first, F2 Pool in second, Hive on in third. The last 14 days, we have Mining Pool Hub in first, F2 Pool in second, Ethermine in third. For the last 7 days, we have Mining Pool Hub in first, Ethermine in second, F2 Pool in third. For the last 3 days, we have F2 Pool in first, Nano Pool in second, Ethermine in third. And for the last day, we have F2 Pool in first, Ethermine in second, and Hive on Pool in third. Now, remember, you guys can head to 2 different websites down below for ASIC miners. One will be Coastal Crypto Mining, which we have a promo code for. If you use promo code SOAT, you can get 5% off. You do want to be checking the prices, because there are additional fees that go between these two. A previous sponsor that we have is BT Miners. You can use the affiliate link down below as well. Add them to the cart and check the prices, because in some cases, while the price might look lower on BT miners, they may not include the VAT fees. Coastal Crypto Mining, for example, will include those VAT fees, so it'll put that initial price looking a little bit higher. So you want to go ahead and add the cart, check your sales tax for your local region, check if you're going to have any additional VAT fees, that sort of thing. Just want to give you guys as many options as I can. Both of these companies for ASIC mining essentially are vetted by me and working right now. So if you're looking to purchase ASIC miners, those are the places you want to go. Speaking of which, though, let's go ahead and take a look at ASIC miner profitability and see if we've had some decent increases on those. The L7 is still sitting in first place if you don't include the E9 or the Jazz miner, which is the Jazz miner X4, which doesn't make okay. Anyways, the X4 2500 mega hash. The L7 is actually mining on a new coin called Nyan, which is really extremely interesting. And now we must look into this particular coin. Nyan mining calculator. Nyan coin. It'll be a script coin, of course. Give me the website. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Digital currency themed on Nyan Cat. You can trade it on TextBit. And what is this? Nyan coin is a cryptocurrency based on Nyan Cat and was launched in January 2014 with the words, "It is my great pleasure to announce to you all that we have partnered with the creators of Nyan Cat to create the first officially licensed cryptocurrency in history. The original announcement was on Bitcoin Talk. Unfortunately, the original developers mysteriously disappeared after a couple months without any reason or explanation. It's rumored they turned into Doges or something. The original Nyan Coin website and services ceased working shortly thereafter. However, not all was lost, since enough people kept the software running and continued to mine the coin. Many other recent tokens and other projects with Nyan in their name exist. They are all unrelated. Tokens on other blockchains can be created and easily by anyone at a time. I'm going to go throw my L3 Plus on this bitch. Hold on. What is the... Okay. All right. Let's look up the L3 Plus here real quick now. No. Hardware. Oh, it won't let me do it. Let's see. We can go into here and maybe search for it or just do script. Always love finding other meme coins, huh? L3 Plus is profitable on Nyan. Yeah! Woohoo! Look at the pre-mine. Shh, it's fine. We're just gonna throw the L3 Plus on there and get us some kitty cat coin. All right. This is not financial advice, and I would not recommend buying an L3 Plus with the intention of mining that in particular. So there you go. As far as that is concerned, I wonder if we can figure out how to dual mine it. Let's check the rest of the Asic miners here. You have the KD6 at $16.15 a day. It's actually down a little bit, along with the KD5 down under $10 a day at $9.98 a day. And S19 Pros at $5.71 a day on Digibyte, so it is back up. Let's get into questions and answers. Remember, super chats are never required, always appreciated first to be read because they're the easiest to be read. We have hit an all-time high of viewers for the week at 361 concurrent viewers, so I want to thank you all and encourage you all to hit that like button. I'd like to hit 190 likes before the live stream ends. Now, the other way that you can get me to respond is by tagging at Son of a Tech at the beginning of your message. That will highlight it orange and it'll make it easier for me to read. Ted Park says Paraguay is the perfect country for shady mining because you're hard to extradite then. And then, is it stable enough to have your expensive hardware not be confiscated? That is a good question. Bojangle says, I'd love for it to be winter. I'm over the heat. Me too. I like the heat to go like work out in because it like boosts everything, gets me my cardio better. But I am so sick of my miners having to run in them. Get me tagged, boys, with your questions and comments. Morning, Techie. Daniel, thank you, good sir. Texas A says, Ask Son of a Tech, are the electric fees you are suddenly having only for your business electric plan, or do you see the same fees on your home plan as well? It's on the home plan as well. It's on both. It is on both. I mean, I think between the house and the farm, it was like nearly $3,000 for the month in just power. Pretty bad. No thanks, SR. Crypto Mikkel, welcome. Quincy Jackson says, Ask Son of a Tech, are you going to show us spec mine on locals? We have done a couple of them with like Darrow, etc., but there's nothing else really going on in Darrow. The word's gotten out now at this point. So, if you guys were looking at mining something on CPU, Darrow is the name of the game, but the profitability has dropped quite significantly. Beach Bomb says, Ask Son of a Tech purchased a 3080 Founders Edition $699 and a 3060 Ti FE $399 from Best Buy, but have not picked it up. Thinking of canceling and getting my money back. Thoughts? I mean, that's really up to you. 3080 Founders Edition for $699 sounds pretty good. 3060 Ti Founders Edition for $399 to me sounds pretty good too. Detroit Iris says, Ask Son of a Tech, do you have a green backpack? That was one of the funnest live stream moments I think we've ever had. I need to get it clipped, but if you guys want to watch live, we're live on twitch.tv/blindrun. We'll be live today again at 6 p.m. Central Time, so if you want to go over there and hang out. Yesterday, for example, we completed configuring an Ergo node and an ETC node, and then we played a game called The Cycle Frontier, and I trolled some people in the game, and it was pretty fun. Village BC says, Ask Son of a Tech, have you come across a good rack mountable standard rack for you server chassis for GPU mining? The only ones that you could get back in the day were the Rosewill, and Rosewill quit making them. So I have about 6 of them. I bought all of them that were on sale during the bear market last time, and now you can't get them, unfortunately, anymore. So No, because rack mountable would be nice, especially if you could buy one of those standalone AC cooled racks, right? That's kind of what I was thinking initially when I bought it. Keith says, outside of tech, have you seen the magnetic ear disc for cauliflower ear? Yeah, I've tried it, but these are all hardened now. This is all just like straight hard. There's no bubble in them anymore. I used them, but they're really hard to keep on. Try to keep them taped on. I still have a ridge, so, you know, it's better than it was going to be, but it's not, it is what it is. Chuki says, ask Savatech, I think profitability after the merge will be better than expected, which might make proof of work coins pump. Yeah, that could be interesting. He also says, ask Savatech, either that or some rich guy pumps a coin to boost profitability. I think the Asic miners will try to boost Ethereum Classic. Probably. ERT Ted says, are you buying power right from the power company or is it resale? So it's a mix is what I'm understanding now that I'm talking to them more, because they do have some of their own power generation. But it sounds like, I got to figure it out. Sounds like they're selling some of that power generation off and then paying for other generation to come in, right? So anything that comes off of natural gas is an additional cost to them. Daniel says, ask Samatech, do you know if there's any problems with setting your octo miners on their side? I'm curious about GPU sag and if it will affect us the same way as GPU sag in a PC case. It would depend on, of course, the weight of the card. There is no support bracket on the backside of the card, so in theory, you would have to worry about GPU sag. That being said, if you're talking about fan longevity, if you turn it on its side with the fans down, you will have longer fan longevity than if you have it laying flat because of the way gravity affects the fan spinning, right? So those are your two options. I'm laying them flat personally and not on the side. I don't really want one falling over while I'm not around. I think that that could be rough. The Kielbasa says, Samatech, thank you so much for helping me live the American dream. I would have never been able to do without you. I'm glad it's working out for you, my man. Hopefully we'll all get there. Yeah, we need another 17 likes to hit the 190 like goal. So if you guys have forgot, go ahead and hit that. If you want to throw some super chats, feel free to do so as well. We got 13 minutes, so we got a long time today. It was a shorter show. But a very positive show. Like I said, seeing that capital come into, you know, core scientific is a really good sign for everyone because there's going to be a lot less selling pressure on Bitcoin here for the short term. Jeremiah says, ask Samatech, I have not mined other coins yet besides from ETH. I mine using AMD and NVIDIA. Should I sell all of my AMD and strengthen NVIDIA since NVIDIA is more versatile for mining? This is something that a lot of people have been doing. Now, I think if you have 5,000 series cards, for example, it's probably too late. If you have 6,000 series cards, it's probably okay timing because their MSRPs are still pretty inflated. Especially if you have like 6800s and 6800 XTs, those sort of cards are selling really well. And you could pick up, you know, potentially an NVIDIA card. That being said, you know, you got to be extremely careful on how you do it because you don't want to end up selling something and then getting less hash rate for the same amount of money at the end of the day. Quincy Jackson says, ask Samatech, can you drop a link for the Twitch? Would love to jump in and watch. For sure, I will get that link for you right now. We stream, I'm streaming less this week because I've been rebuilding rigs, but typically we stream almost every night. So you can go check it out there. And it's just twitch.tv/blindrun. And if you want clips from that channel, you can also check out the Blind Run YouTube channel down below. Detroit Irish says ratchet strap them. Yeah, you could ratchet strap them to the whatever, the shelving or whatever. Potentially. Beach Bum, thanks for the $1.99 super sticker, boosting that algorithm. Quincy Jackson, thanks for the $2.99 super chat sticker, boosting that algorithm. The Kielbasa says, ask Tech on a side note. I swear I saw you at Houston Micro Center in January. I was struck, could not say hi. Just say hey. I'm pretty approachable, I think, other than I do realize I have resting bitch face. But I'm working on it. I promise. It's not how I feel inside. Village BC says, ask Son of a Tech, are you, if you were buying, looking at cards' overall efficiency in the GPU, or do you have a specific proof of work coin you have in mind and target cards that might work really well for that? Yeah, so I mean, I've been really liking the, let me see if I can find my Google Sheets for you guys on this one. Get this shared out for you. So I've been looking at Ergo, obviously, is the one that I'm curious on. So I've been reviewing this particular sheet as people added in. Thanks for the €5 or £5 super chat, Moretta Gaming Computers. And this has like all of the Ergo efficiencies. It's still pretty much like gonna be pretty similar to your and be careful, like not all the hash rates are correct on this, right? So I think even like one has like a 1660 super at 225 megahash a second. That's not accurate, but if you want to get an idea, you can basically scroll over and sort by your efficiency. I believe that's still on here. Where's the efficiency? I'm missing that rate. It was on here. Anyways, some of the cards, though, are still going to be the same, like your 3050 or your 3080s, your 3060 Ti's, your 3070s, primarily 3060 Ti's and 3070s, with the 3080 Ti and the 3070 Ti being like in there as well. So it's kind of what I've been looking at. Unique Shay says, ask Tech, which thermal pads do you use for 1660 supers? Most of mine don't have active cooling on the memory, but I just use the blue ones that I've linked in my deal before. Let me get them for you. Give me a second. If I can find them. Here we go. I just use these blue ones. Albren says, ask Tech, my power cost is middle of the road. Can you recommend the most efficient 30 series cards for someone on non-ETH coins trying to use the time to expand? The 3060 Ti and the 3070. If you're worried about core specific coins, you may want to just stick to the 3070. Beach Bum says, ask Tech, got into mining after watching your profitability video when you were at 3 gigahash. Now I'm a full-fledged miner and outgrow my home just as you did. So thanks for your content. Awesome, dude. Congratulations. Jeremiah says, ask Tech, thank you for answering your question. I try to answer as many as I can. Crypto Mikkel is headed out, so make sure you guys go subscribe to him. But good to see you in here, buddy. Have a good one. We'll catch you next Tuesday. Beach Bomb with the $1.99 super chat sticker. Thank you for boosting the algorithm. Jimmy says, ask Tech, if you have to choose one GPU, would it be the 3070 FE or the 3070 Ti FE? I would do the 3070 Founders Edition personally, because they run cooler primarily. Once you go to, the 3070 Ti, you have that GDDR6X memory, and it runs pretty hot. So I would take the hit on that, I think, at this point. Unique Shady says, Ask Simatech, thank you. Also, do you know any website or forum where you can check the thermal pad size for all cards? No, I do everything myself with calipers. I have a guide on that on YouTube. I think it's called like replace thermal pads on any GPU or something like that. And that is right here. Vash says, Ask Simatech, I've been dropping my Bitcoin mining profits into 3 times Bitcoin ETF in preparation for the next bull run. Is there any negative aspect to this that I may be missing? As far as ETFs, I don't have a lot of experience. You know, I'd rather have it in a wallet that I control. Is it a wallet you control? If not, then there's where your negative is. I don't know that you can do futures trading decentralized. Is there potential for that? Shooter McGavin says, Ask Simatech, always loved the program, but my wife curses that you ever mention Elden Ring because now I'm addicted. Elden Ring's a great game. Anything Everything says, Ask Simatech, okay, I've been listening a while. What is the see you next Tuesday? Yeah, spell it out. See you and next Tuesday. Village BC says, Ask Simatech, will you stop assuming you pay for it doing material or martial arts to keep the farm running? My goal would be to not quit that. I'll do whatever I can to not quit that. I'll figure it out. I think it's extremely important. Kara says, Ask Simatech, should I sell my 6000 series cards, or do you think it will start to be good for other coins? With both NVIDIA and AMD moving to, you know, this more like L2 cash kind of format, there may be a potential for the 6000 series to end up being really, really good in some new proof of work mineable coin. There is potential there for the 6000 series, seeing that the entire GPU market is moving that direction. I prefer Pi. Thanks for the 99-cent super chat sticker. Paul says, is MXC worth mining? I'm not aware of MXC, so I guess I don't know. Fundum says, Ask Simatech, what's the best CPU miner right now? What do you mean as far as best CPU miner? Best CPU to mine? Because then you're really getting into like basically server grade AMD equipment. Vash says, thanks, it's centralized. That's definitely the negative aspect. Yeah, I would get my coins out of there, especially for a bear market when you aren't sure exactly what's going to happen. You have the potential to lose it, right? Also, do you have 3090 thermal pad replacement measurements? It depends on the 3090. Some of them yes, some of them no, right? Doctor says, Ask Simatech Elden Ring community co-op run when? That'd be fun. Jeremiah says, Ask Simatech, are the GTX 1080 Ti's and Titan X are still profitable still? Should I sell them and buy the 5700 XT? I would probably start trying to get rid of 1080 Ti's and Titan X's, yes, because they consume a lot of power and they're not as efficient. Buying 5700 XTs is a little bit of a risk with the merge threat. Obviously, I run a lot of them. If you're getting Samsung memory, I feel a lot better about the 5700 XT. If you're getting Micron, then they're kind of not great because they're a huge, like 20% difference when we're talking about mining Ergo. Ronaldo says, Ask Simatech, are you considering replace your 3090s for 3070s? 2 of them the same hash rate as a 3090, but less power. You gain some watts for more cards. Yeah, the 3090 purchases were primarily due to the fact that you could purchase them for, you know, closer to retail throughout the bull run. Village BC says, Ask Simatech, speaking of CPU mining, do your rigs both GPU and CPU mine or just GPU focused? Well, now they're all converting to just GPU focused and all my CPU miners will be individual miners, but that's still in the works. I'm getting all the GPUs moved over to Octo miners. Once that's done, I'll be taking all my boards and configuring individual CPU miners, and we'll be talking about that when I get to that phase, but I'm not to that phase yet of my deployment. Andre says, Ask Tech, do you think this up of the prices of crypto is a bull trap? Yeah, I don't usually like bull trap, bear trap. Like, I usually don't go along those lines because, like, I don't think that they're very indicative of like what the details that are going on. Like we talked about today, the big thing that we need to pay attention to is capital that was allowed for the largest Bitcoin miner to come into play and basically fill up their balance sheet so they do not have to sell Bitcoin anymore, meaning that there's less Bitcoin, there's less selling pressure on Bitcoin for the near future. Legit's adding his Discord. I'll allow that comment, but be careful, guys. Don't get scammed. If he asks you for money, tell him no. All right, boys, that's going to call it for today. Hit the like, comment, subscribe, and notification bell down below. We hit 231 likes, which is basically 40 likes over what I was anticipating. But maybe we can get even closer to that 250 like mark on the sign out. We will be live on Twitch at 6 p.m. Central Time, a little bit after. So we'll have a video go live. The premiere is at 6 p.m. And then right after the premiere on YouTube, I'll be going live on Twitch. That premiere today is going to be an interview with ErgoPad, the CEO of ErgoPad, Marty. And it has a ton of good information in it, basically integrating, of course, everything that's being done with DeFi and NFTs, etc., into essentially proof of work mining. I think that's going to be very important for you guys to pay attention to. Then tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, we have 2 more mining farm vlogs coming out. We'll be swapping 1660 supers into an Octo miner and testing the temperatures and thermals, and swapping 3070s into an Octo miner and testing thermals. Tomorrow, I will be also meeting up with Chili, who is the representative for Octominer, and hopefully getting an interview and some content with him out. And then on Sunday, I'm doing a tour of a home mining farm that run by a woman. So there you go. Female miners. Love to see it. Apparently, it's only 2% of the population, according to my YouTube analytics. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.